The road trip train that keeps moving on. Game 3 out of 4 in this weird multi-time zone road trip the Oilers got going on right now. The Oil, they're in Pittsburgh tonight. The Steel City, as I saw written by somebody else's game notes earlier today. Shout out Liam Horrobin as they look to take the season series against the Penguins down at PPG Paints Arena. Hello, what up, and welcome to Pre-Gaming with Bordzy, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant for a reason. Pre-Gaming is a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today and use the code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Let's catch up in the chat here. We're starting it off hot. We're starting it with a super chat from QF Pro. Reminder, all of your super chat donations are in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation, a cause very near, very dear to all of our hearts. QF Pro says, if all it takes to keep the streak alive is giving my money to the Ben Stelter Fund every pre-gaming, then I will continue to do so. That's a team player. That's a team guy. Like I said, it's all going to a great cause. Tammy is in and says, I'm crossing all the fingers and toes for game 5 of the streak tonight. LFG boys, K. Waddy says the Oilers do not lose in January. And factually, I forget what date it is, even in the 23 season as well there. It's been a minute since the Oilers have dropped one in January. Kiana, she's in, says 4 p.m. pre-gaming feels a little weird. You're telling me everything here gets super bumped up when we get going? But where else would I rather be than with you guys? She says the same. I'm always happy to have a little Bordzy and Oilers talk in my life. Happy game day, Rusty. Let's go. Amanda, I hate these early games. Lance, Cup, yeah, of course. K. Waddy says 7 a.m. over here. Shouts out to you. Happy Friday, I guess, to you as well. And as you can tell, I'm joined by the one, the only, the man who missed Oilers Nation every day today, Liam Horrobin. But you can't keep a good man down. He's going to be with us all evening, pre-gaming and post-gaming. Liam, how we doing today, my guy?
I'm good. Someone said in there, am I standing? I am standing. To quote Elton John, I'm still standing. Yeah.
Liam, you've made it very clear that your goal is to do the entire show standing multiple ones. Tyler and I think you're batshit nuts for wanting to do that. But is this your first time standing, doing a full 60 minutes?
It is. I'm doing it for other reasons, I guess, other than the want to do it. I have to keep my body moving today. So if you see me randomly just like shuffling around, it's because I'm incredibly uncomfortable and I have to.
My boy's going through it. My boy's going through it right now. But Liam, you missed Oilers Nation every day today. Loaded show. Sorry if you missed it, people. We had Tyler Ennis and the one, the only Bruce Kurlock. Bruce Kurlock came in with a surprise. Liam, it was pretty funny. So I can see the preview windows. We have Ennis on, and I see Bruce Kurlock, and he's all ready to go. We're in his regular, like, businessy attire. Today it was featured in front of a library, in front of a bunch of books. So he looked extra smart. But I see him scurry away to go grab something, and then he comes back in, and he's wearing probably like the oldest retro Buffalo Bills sweater, whatnot, and he came in trolling galore. And then was disappointed, and he did say, I miss Liam, but he was disappointed you weren't there because he wanted to troll you. What is your response to that?
I don't talk until the game is over, is kind of my motto. So I won't be talking until after the Super Bowl or Buffalo inevitably blow it before they get anywhere close to getting to the Super Bowl. They're a bit overrated. Once they play a team that's actually healthy, they'll probably lose.
I mean, fact, Buffalo Bills fans are probably arguably the most tortured single fan base out there. Because as you mentioned, they're always find a way. I love you, Josh Allen. You're going to find a way to lose in the playoffs this year. But we're here for hockey talk. Let's talk some Oil. And they are red hot right now. We're going for 5 in a row this evening. Hopefully closing out the halfway mark of the season. We're 40 games down, 41 at the end of the evening. The Oil currently second place in the Pacific Division. But Liam, every facet of the Oilers game right now appears to be rolling. Here's a good look at the standings in the Pacific. Oilers got sole possession of second, up 2 points on the LA Kings. But as you can tell, the Kings have 2 games in hand, so don't hold your breath. 6-pack of the Vegas Golden Knights, each with 40 games in hand. And then math, 7 points above the Vancouver Canucks there, who lost last night in overtime to the Washington Capitals. So shout out the Caps. But as I said, Oil, they're rolling right now, every facet, and no better example than Tuesday night against those Boston Bruins. Sure, they gave up a couple breakaways out there, but Stuart Skinner was there, able to stand tall, doing what he do in December and January. But the power play got it done. The PK was absolutely perfect. The depth scoring was there. 2 goals from Adam Henrique, who nearly doubles his goal total on the season. Liam, I said to you, hell, even Josh Brown looked. I stopped myself at good right there. You heard me choke him up. He played fine out there in his 11 minutes, 49 seconds time on ice. And since December 1st, the Oil, they've been going on a couple streaks. They've now had a 5-game win streak, a 3-game win streak, and now we're currently on another 4-game heater looking to make it 5. And that it's not the 16-game heater like it was last season. Now, still could happen. Still would solve all of my problems, but they're running through the schedule kind of exactly how they should. And Liam, I had a moment Tuesday night driving home from the office after the Bruins game, and I was just like, wow, like 2nd place in the division, easily beat the Bruins in Boston. Like, wow, what a fun year this has been so far. And that we got a little scare at the beginning of the year last year. We got a major scare last year. Right now, the Oilers look like the Stanley Cup Finals contender. Game in, game out, doing everything that they should be doing. Drink it in, people. Appreciate it. It's been a fun run here for a little bit, but Liam, the Oil be a rolling right now.
Yeah, they're playing really well, and I think what shows how well they're playing is I feel like Draisaitl and McDavid aren't fully controlling games for them. They're obviously contributing. Like McDavid was pretty good the other night too. Obviously had that big power play goal, but other guys are chipping in here and there with big goals, and that to me shows where this team's at the moment. Like, there's always been the question of like, is the depth there? And I think it's there more than ever this season. Like the fact we have Zach Hyman on the 3rd line at the moment, not out of a punishment to Zach Hyman, but because of how well Connor Brown has been playing. I know we'll get into that a little bit later too, but it's been really good, and I think it's a good decision to have 13 forwards as well. They basically have 6.5 defensemen because they just rotate in Josh Brown when they kind of want. But just to have that competition and guys pushing each other every single day to be like wanting to be in a lineup is a vital part of it. Like Corey Perry was a scratch the other day and he has 6 goals on the season. I don't know the last time the other, like, it doesn't seem like a lot, but for a 4th line player, that's a guy who in the past was getting elevated the lineup and be like, boy, I hope he can perform on the 2nd line with whoever it may be. So yeah, they've been playing awesome, and I think it comes down to 1, the goaltending has taken a huge stride forward, and 2, just the contributions from essentially everybody.
Your depth scoring, it's starting to happen. No bigger example of that than Rico's 2-goal performance Tuesday night. But you mentioned the depth there and what they've been rolling with, and tonight, another game expected with no changes. Tony Brouwer had a tweet today, said this morning he had a tweet that said, Chris Knoblauch confirms he expects no changes. So that means Connor Brown continues to play with Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, while Bubble, Hyman, there it is, Knoblauch confirms we will see the same lineup. RNH with McDavid, C. Brown, 2nd line going to stay the same. Bubble, Hyman with Henrique and Skinner on the 3rd line. And obviously, I think that this experiment there will have an expiration date at some point. Don't know when it's going to be, but I also feel that Hyman's bubble has a little bit to do with it, right? That while he's dealing with this completely fractured face, he gets a little bit less ice time, a little bit less workload, and in the same time tries to elevate Jeff Skinner and Adam Henrique. And we have a graphic here of the last game, what the 3 of them did out there on the ice together in 12 minutes, time on ice, 5v5. Shot attempts, 15-12. Shots, 6-4. Scoring chances, 9-5. And then obviously the most important one, 2-0 in the goal category. And Rico, I said, nearly doubles his goal total. He had 3 coming into the game. Now Jeff Skinner, he's got 3 straight games with 8 points as well. And that I don't know how long Hyman lasts on that 3rd line. But if the goal from Chris Knoblauch was to give Jeff Skinner and Adam Henrique confidence and boost them in their play, well, yet again, Chris Knoblauch, congratulations, because you have pulled the strings. Fantastic. You saw it in the last game as the rest of these guys, the depth guys, Liam, you just mentioned, are starting to elevate their play. So thoughts on that third line? We're sticking with it yet again this evening. And dude, for a third line, those dudes have the ability to put the puck in the back of the net. Bruce said it today. That's a scoring third line that you can put out there against weaker competition. The guys that don't get the McDavid and Dry matchups are going to get those three dudes out on the ice. Seems like a prime spot for those three to keep eating.
Yeah, I like the three of them together, but I would not be shocked by Chicago on Saturday if it's just Hyman's back on the first line. I think we saw glimpses of it the other day against Boston too. Like Hyman seemed to be getting a few more shifts with McDavid, and it comes to a point of like, what's more important to you, like having a third line that's playing well or your first line that's just absolutely dominating? And I think the first line is the answer. It's no coincidence that Connor McDavid has also had the three of the best years of his career when Zach Hyman's been on this team as well. So I think Hyman kind of needs to get that back up there. And also too, like Connor Brown's been playing well enough without Connor McDavid that I think it's okay to put him down there too. And again, it's not seen as like a punishment to either of the players. But tonight, I think Henrique and Skinner deserve to play with Hyman tonight, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. They've elevated their play recently, and like you said, it's not going to last a long time. But if the goal was to light that spark underneath Skinner and Rico and get them going, and hopefully you can then take Hyman off and those guys can keep going that way. Nobby yet again pulling the strings. I see Kiana said, so thankful we don't have a team full of divas. Hyman's a trooper dropping down the line to give Brownie the chance to go top line. Hyman knowing I drive the play on that third line. I'm going to be the guy that elevates these dudes' play. Southpaw, same thing. We just have to trust Nobby. He has the team's pulse always. Yeah. And then Lance, it's kind of the split discussion here. Spector loves the third line. Gregor hates it and thinks it's stupid. Spector thinks it's a balanced cup team. Gregor thinks it's a waste of Hyman. I'm not gonna make any jokes there. We're just gonna keep moving along.
So what does that like? If I think I would change your approach to the deadline almost. Like if you think you want to keep Hyman on that third line, I don't think you can go into the playoffs with Connor Brown on your first line. I think he's better in the bottom six role. So do you then go out and get like a top six right winger? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Probably not, but
there's no way that Zach Hyman does not spend the NHL playoffs next to Connor McDavid. There's no way. Looks like I'm gonna have to make the joke, but Specs, what's going on there, brother? I would much rather in the spurts that we're doing right now. It's working beautifully. You got Skinner, Rico going. That's the end of that. I could see the end of this roadie being when Hyman goes back up top, and maybe when he pops the bubble off. Maybe that will be when we know that he's back to first line. First line looks, I guess we'll say. Otherwise, tonight, generational showdown, generational matchup between Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid. Me and Ty were baffled today, Liam. Somebody in the chat, I'll leave their name out of it, said, doesn't Connor McDavid usually play bad and get dominated by Sid in these games?
No, the other way around.
What? It is the complete other way around. I love the chat. Love everybody in it. Got to do a little bit more research before that one. Pat, pull it up for me here if we have the tweet. Shout out to Sportsnet Stats. This will be the 15th head-to-head game between McDavid and Crosby. In their previous 14 meetings, Connor has 9 goals, 18 assists for 27 points in 14 games, while Sid only 3 goals, 4 assists in 7 points in those games. The Oil, I believe, also 8-3-3 in that stretch. Also, when I look at those points, I want to say shout out to the goaltending and defense. If those are Sid's numbers against the Oilers, I doubt his numbers are that low against anyone in their last 14 games. After all, it is Sidney Crosby. But McDavid himself today in his early morning media roundup, whatever, he said, and I got to hear the quote, "It's a game you get up for sure. It is exciting to play Sid and the Penguins. Definitely one you get excited for whatever reason. We play well against them and continue that tonight." Connor McDavid, lately, it was weird. I love how people say like slump. He had just gone on a 12-game point streak, goes 2 games without a point, where the Oilers, in fact, win both games, and we're all a little alarmed, me included, honestly, is you're not expected to see that. It just doesn't happen that often. But Liam, we noticed the last 2 games, Connor, without Zach Hyman on his wing, way more committed to shoot the puck. He's got 11 shots on goal in those last 2 games. What do you expect from McDavid? Could we bet an anytime McDavid goal tonight? And just overall thoughts on the showdown that McDavid has dominated. No stretch there. He's dominated it.
Yeah, he really has. But the funny part about it is when you think back to how many goals did McDavid have there? You said 7, 9? Something like
9.
that. 9. And Crosby has 3. What's the one goal you think of?
The game winner, or the OT one where he dangled Rydstrom.
Yeah, the Crosby OT winner, which is very funny. I couldn't name one other McDavid goal in that moment. That's the one I always think of with Crosby now. Sorry, what was your original question? What do I expect from McDavid?
Yeah, McDavid and Crosby, what are we getting tonight? More of the same? And can I bet a McDavid anytime goal is really my question.
Well, the odds actually went up on Bet365. Typically, the McDavid is number 1 odds to get a goal for the Oilers, but today it's Draisaitl plus 110, McDavid plus 130, which is funny after McDavid scored and Draisaitl didn't score. But I would think if he continues to shoot at this rate, you'd have to. I'd like the odds to do it. I just looked into for him to get 4 shots. It's plus 180 tonight, which is obviously a good total. But I think McDavid is going to just have to keep driving that line, of course, like he always does, and just kind of make plays happen by himself. I think Nuge is playing very well at the moment with that said, but McDavid seems to have realized in a way that like, oh, I'm not scoring. Like he has like 3 goals in his last however many games. Like he's not scoring a ton of goals. So you would imagine he starts to turn it up a little bit more and actually get in like the puck in the back of the net. But again, like I'm not worried about Connor McDavid by any means. It's kind of funny. He's like 7th in the NHL in points with 55 and 37. And it's like a bad year.
Yeah, exactly. He's also, I looked today, Bet365. He's the favorite for the Hart Trophy. Connor McDavid is Leon plus 550. More on that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Betting, you can tell, is a little bit of a theme on this show. We're just bankroll hitting you a little bit later on as well. We said we're not worried about Connor McDavid. Might be a little worried about the Pittsburgh Penguins because they are reeling right now, losers of 4 straight. And they, Liam, are the king of the loser point this season. Yep. They have now lost 3 straight games in overtime or a shootout. And I don't know, much like the Bruins on Tuesday night, right? But for the Penguins, it's been more clear for the last couple of years. Stanley Cup contender status is long and gone, I'd say, for these Penguins. They're scratching and clawing to get in the playoffs. It was coming down to game 82 last season, and we all remember that. Yes, they still got Sid, they got Malkin, Carlson, Letang. The average age of those dudes must be what?
1 million?
7, I would think. Something like that. I don't know. It just kind of feels like dark times in Pittsburgh right now. Jesse Puljujarvi, I believe, is going to be in the lineup there. So that's a bright spot. Nice smiling face, if you will, on their lineup. But Pittsburgh, yet again, year after year, I don't know, man. They've just been trying to hang on to this for so long. And I think anyone with 2 eyes and a brain has been able to look and say, I don't even think you'll get into the playoffs. Maybe you'll get in, you'll win 1 round, but you can't contend for a cup with the way this roster currently is. And really, we're just record chasing at this point for Sid and Malkin. It kind of feels like. Overall thoughts on the Penguins' year so far. And they come into this one absolutely reeling, lost 4 in a row, 3 straight in overtime or a shootout.
Yeah. I think whenever you have Crosby, you kind of expect him to be still relevant, I guess you could say, right? But 42 points, 42 games, an average of a point per game isn't exactly great for an entire team, despite I'm pretty sure they're still in a playoff spot just outside, right? Just outside. So the problem is the Erik Karlsson. It was just a bit unnecessary for them to go get him at the time, and I think it just shows Kyle Dubas is inexperienced, I guess you could say, at that moment as well. And like, I like a lot of their players, but they just don't have enough players, if that makes sense. And it's kind of unfortunate, but it's also incredibly difficult to keep the dream alive for so long. Like, give credit to a team like Washington this year, who, yes, they got help a little bit from Nicholas Backstrom not playing and got $9 million freed up for them. But the fact that they've been able to kind of get back to relevancy after last season, I know they made the playoffs, but they weren't really a playoff team. But Pittsburgh just isn't there anymore. And I fully expect the Oilers to go in there and not kick the crap out of them, but win convincingly.
Yeah, I think some of that as well. Pat, I'm curious. Do we have the Jason Gregor tweet in here as well? It kind of runs through the Oilers' last 7 games. Yeah, that one right there. Throw that for me. Edmonton has won 7 in a row over Pittsburgh and outscored them 37-9 in that span. Holy shit. McDavid has 6, 11, and 17 in those 7 games. Past 3 meetings, Edmonton has won 4-0, 4-0, and 6-1. They led 6-0 before Malkin scored late to break that shutout. Yeah, you like that. But once again, like you mentioned, any team with Sid, can't take him lightly. There's also the last 10 games.
Whoa.
Oilers have won 7 straight. There's the last 10 as well. Also, shutout. That should be more yellow on our side. Pat, I love you, but I'm a big stickler on the full yellow on the side. So shout out the Oilers, their last 10, dominating these Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's go now to our need to know information, courtesy of Wilhock Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn that sweet, sweet Wilhock name, made from 100% pure Alberta beef. Their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to a savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size, and you can find their jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location. For more information, head to willhawkbeefjerky.com. So we already went through the NHL standings there, or sorry, the Pacific Division standings. Oilers, they're in action tonight, 6-back of the Vegas Golden Knights up on the LA Kings, who aren't in action, but the Vegas Golden Knights, they're going to be playing the New York Islanders. Chris Knobloch, like I said, confirmed, according to Tony Brar, expect the same lineup, which means Josh Brown will technically be in that second pairing spot next to Darnell Nurse. But as we saw the last game, when we even started on Puck Drop, it was Darnell Nurse with Brett Kulak. Liam, it's just a recommendation out there, whatever Nobby's throwing down. We looked at it there, the Oilers dominating the Penguins in their last 7 games, last 10 in general, whatever you want to say. There is the head-to-head between these two teams. Oil, 3.3 goals per game, 2.7 against. Actually, Pittsburgh has, I believe, dead last in goals against per game in the NHL this season. Weirdly, though, they have a top 5 power play in the NHL and a dead mid, I believe it's 14th ranked PK on the season as well. We've mentioned Connor. He eats the Penguins for breakfast. Leon Draisaitl, weirdly, only, I guess I'll put only, has 18 points in 17 games in his career against the Penguins. Nuge, he's got 17 in 22, while Evan Bouchard is a point-per-game player against the Penguins. 8 points in 8 games, if you're looking for a little betting sprinkle there as well. Finally, Stuart Skinner. He gets to start for the Oil. Been on fire recently. I don't even know if fire properly describes it. And Liam, he is officially back above a 900 save percentage.
Woo!
Look at us go. Mama, we made it. They said we'd never be here. Well, damn it, we're here. And shout out to Pat. I noticed this today. He put the asterisks on the one shutout, because for as long as we're going to do this show, he got 2 shutouts on the season. I swear to God. But you see 8-1-1 in his last 10 games, Stu. He's been on fire. The other side of the coin, the Pittsburgh Penguins, 17-7-8 on the year. If you go straight up wins, losses, they are below 500, but they've collected 8 loser points on the season. 5th in the Metro, where we looked, 4-3-3 in their last 10. Losers of 4 straight. They lost 3 straight in OT and shootout, right? So it was a 4-3 shootout loss to Columbus on Tuesday. Painful. 4-3 OT loss to Carolina on Sunday. Painful. 3-2 shootout loss to Florida on Friday. Painful as well. Tough week for the Penguins, who, you just mentioned it there, Liam, they are currently tied with Columbus for the last wildcard spot, but Columbus has a game in hand, so they currently sit in that spot. Injury news. Oh,
sorry. One thing on the Penguins Columbus game. Did you hear about the streak that ended in that game?
Why don't you tell them, Liam? Why don't you tell the people? I read game notes, so I know.
So the Penguins and Blue Jackets are in the same division, of course, the Metropolitan Division. And the Blue Jackets had lost 15 straight games on their visits to Pittsburgh. Absolutely insane. They snapped it the other day, and the Penguins had a two-goal lead in that game as well, but they snapped it in a shootout, which is a crazy underrated run in the NHL. against a divisional opponent. Insane.
So the Jackets own the Oilers. The Oilers own the Penguins, but the Penguins own the Jackets. We just got a nice circle of
Nice
life.
little wheel.
The circle of life, baby. Evgeny Malkin, injury news wise, he's a game time decision tonight, according to Pittsburgh. He didn't play in the last game, was a late scratch in that last game, had an upper body injury. Per Mike Sullivan, he's going to be game time decision. They'll also be without Phil Tomasino, who's been out since January 3rd with a lower body. And then Alex Nedeljkovic is getting the start for the Penguins. A little surprised, to be honest with you, that it's not Tristan Jarry. Weird if you look at their numbers. Nedeljkovic has a 1.01 better save percentage than Jarry. But Jarry recently has been a little bit better, but they're going with Nedeljkovic tonight. 6-6-4 on the year, 3.22 goals against average with an 888 save percentage. Let's talk now. Let's go to our Sherwood Ford Giants storyline this evening. Liam, you didn't get to give a key to victory today, so I'll ask you for your key to victory, but it's brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Tired of dealership hassles? Well, Sherwood Ford in Sherwood Park is all about convenience and upfront pricing with their Giant Deal program. Get clear, no-nonsense pricing on new and used Fords online with all incentives included. Plus, enjoy the ease of mobile service, free pickup and delivery, and same-day or next-day service appointments. Throw them in the chat if you got a key to victory, a storyline. For me, I guess I kind of combine both of them. The Oil tonight should just be another day at the office for these guys. Get in, get out with 2 points. Hopefully do it healthy. You're going to have another one of these Saturday night in Chicago. And the Oil, if you take a peek at their January schedule, it starts a little bit easier here on the road. And then I believe it's after, like around LA. I think it's 6 straight playoff teams that the Oilers are going to be going up against. Here you get a look. So you get Pittsburgh, Chicago, and it's LA, Minnesota, Colorado, Vancouver, Washington, Vancouver. That's a tough 6-game stretch right there. So bank your points while you can. Do it against these lesser opponents. Sorry, I tripped over my words. And you already dominated this team once this season. You beat them 4-0. It was Stuart Skinner's best game of the season besides maybe the game he played on Tuesday night, where I am crediting him with that shutout. Penguins, they're reeling. Oilers, they are red hot. And then I guess furthermore, my key to victory would be, they said it today on ONE, the only way I envision that Pittsburgh can consistently score goals against these Oilers is on the power play. They're 5th in the NHL. Stay out of the box. Don't take stupid, unnecessary penalties, which the Oilers have been better at in these last, since November, December, you could argue. Am I being too simple here with my storyline and my keys to victory, Liam? What are you thinking over there?
No, I don't think so. I was going to say for me, just don't stop playing, because the Penguins are notorious for like giving up leads, especially recently, back-to-back games. And they're not the most skilled team, I guess you could say. Obviously, they have Crosby and other guys that have had their moments in the spotlight throughout their careers, but they're just not where they need to be right now. So just keep going. Don't stop believing, as Oilers Nation put in the chat there. And yeah, I think they'll ultimately be fine. If you can go and do what you did against Boston the other day, who is not even like a significantly better team than the Penguins, but a team that's also struggling to get wins at the moment, like the Oilers should be okay. I would say maybe just like get ahead of it, like don't let Penguins have like a bit of a sniff, but if they do, just don't stop believing.
Hold on to that feeling. Street. Now you go. Okay. No, now I go. No, yeah. No, we're not doing that. You mentioned scoring first, though. Something the Edmonton Oilers have been doing a lot more frequently recently. Liam, did you know the Oilers have scored first in 11 of their last 14 hockey games, as opposed to 11 in their first 26 hockey games? You set me up for an absolute alley-oop right there. Bang, I'm going to dunk that one home because they've been pouncing early. They've been playing with the lead, playing loose, right? And you're going to be way more comfortable when you do that, obviously. And the Oilers, they're 16-3-3, I do believe, this season when they score first. Pretty damn key to their success. Also, selfishly, as a fan, lets me not have to stress out the whole time. But Liam, when you think about it, Have you been live betting Oilers comebacks very frequently recently? Because I know I haven't been. They've kind of, now there's been some slip ups here and there.
Mhm.
Obviously, there always will be, but as most cliche as I can get, they're kind of turning in 60-minute efforts a little bit more frequently these days, none more so than Tuesday night against Boston.
Yeah, the last time I live bet the comeback was San Jose, because that one just seemed inevitable for what was going to happen. But yeah, they've done a good job of just keeping hold of for the game, like their grasp on it. They're letting teams come back in some ways, I guess you could say, but I never feel like they've fully let go of it. You know what I mean? Like I fully believe they're going to be fine in when they do that. And I know that was something people were bringing up, especially against, who was it, Anaheim and Ottawa. But I don't know. This is obvious, but they're a professional team. They play a very professional style of game, and that's kind of the thing of the other day with Zadorov too, and all that kind of stuff. Is like they just said to get 2 points and leave, and I think that's what they're just able to do. Obviously, more often than not.
You got to have the lead to blow the lead. So it's kind
Yeah,
of the,
yeah.
what would you rather have them do? Go down and then have to come back? We'd be bitching about the same thing. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. All that matters is they're winning most of these hockey games right now. Let's go. Let's take a pick. Take a peek. We will go through what we project to be the Edmonton Oilers lineup this evening. As we said, got confirmed from our boy Tony Brar. Hit it for me, Patrick, if you can. Top line: Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor Brown, Paul Dry, Arves, Skinner, Rico, Zachary Martin Hyman with the bubble, Corey Perry on the fourth line with Matthias Janmark and Kasperi Kapanen, who recently said, "This is the best team I've ever been on." And I think he said something along the lines of the most fun he's been having as well. Your deep pairings: Ekholm with Bush, Nurse with Josh Brown / Brett Kulak. I think we're going to see more of. And then it's Kulak, UC with Ty Emberson there as well. But Liam, RIP, he's not dead, but his point streak is Leon Draisaitl, 14 games in a row with a point. It was snapped on Tuesday. He scored 12 goals and 27 points in those 14 games played. Red hot, my brother. He continues to lead the NHL with 29 goals. Second place, 5 back with 24. It's Nathan McKinnon and Braden Points. And we kind of mentioned this earlier. Dry, he has the 4th best odds to win the Hart Trophy. He's plus 550 right now on Bet365. Shout out to them. It's never ordinary at Bet365. McDavid leads the NHL in odds at plus 280. I'd argue not even the MVP of his own team right now. And I think most of this fan base would agree with that. So we like to profit when Bet365 hasn't been watching as closely as we have. So it goes Connor, what did I say? 280. Kaprizov, 320. McKinnon, 325. And then Leon plus 550. He's had an amazing season. If he scores a goal tonight, he's going to have 30 goals at the dead halfway point. I don't want to talk 60, but you could be talking 60 if you wanted to. Liam, little spoiler here. The giant question tomorrow is going to be predict Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl's stat lines at the end of the season. So bank that in your brain right now. I won't ask you that right now. What I will ask, should we be squad riding a Leon Draisaitl plus 550 Hart Trophy odds? Because, dude, throughout the season, 30 or 40 games into the year right now, he's been the best player on the Oilers. I think the best player in the NHL. Yes, there'll always be the McDavid on his team argument, but this is a guy who's won this award before. Should we squad ride? Should we not squad ride?
I think so. I think I completely agree. He's been the best player on this team, and this isn't something that happened like in the last 2 weeks. This has been like a 6-week, most of the season, to be honest. Like McDavid got hurt relatively early in the year for that little patch, and to me, that's kind of when Leon took off and just started doing his own thing. So I think he's been amazing for this team, but he won't win. I just don't think he will, and I think it's such bullshit, to be honest, because you get guys like people forget how good guys like Leon and even like Mikko Rantanen, to even spin it on to Colorado a little bit. They're like how much they actually help McDavid and McKinnon win Hart trophies as well. And like I know those two players, McKinnon and McDavid, are on different levels, but like it's okay to let the other guys kind of take over for a moment from like the public view and be like, oh no, this guy is actually the best player on the team this season.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you as well. When I like thought about it and I looked, I was like, I think he should win. I just don't think the voters will say that he should win. And then I'm like, so am I betting for a cash out option that I'm going to be waiting for around May? And then I'm like, I don't know if that's the way to do it. Maybe you just keep hammering Draisaitl 2+ points like you have. Also, Liam, you didn't get to take your victory lap today on ONE. That new betting graphic, dude, it's not even close. You are destroying the shit out of both Tyler and Jay Downton, our fearless leader. We love you, Jay. Have a great time in Mexico, as I hope you are. He's going Darnell Nurse point. What did you go with tonight?
I just did Arvidsson point. It's like plus 120, I think, something like that.
Yeah, and that Oilers second line has been tearing it up right now. And you got blessed. You went with the RV goal in the last game, and he put home the empty netter. The first thing that popped in my head when I watched that was, my God, what's his lead going to be at right now? So, people, we love Bordzy's bankroll. We ride with Bordzy's bankroll, but if you ever want to look for a pretty successful guy this year, the chat was giving you love too, saying how these other guys, Tyler and Jay, they're taking home runs. Jay's taking grand slam swings the entire time. But Liam just hitting singles, getting on base. Very much like Moneyball. Yeah. You're a Billy Bean guy. Does he get on base? Liam's getting on base. He's seeing green check marks.
It's about winning at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you win 1-0 or you win 10-0. Do you come out with 2 points or $10? You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's all the same. So I'm fine with it. I'll keep hitting singles all season long, and Jay can tell me how brave I am with all my bets. All I'm doing is sleeping on a mattress of coin.
Scoreboard, brother. Also, a mattress of coin sounds so uncomfortable. The final one I got about the Edmonton Oilers. What have you thought of Connor Brown? Like, I don't know if you had to give him a letter grade, if you had to rank him out of 10. What have you thought of Connor Brown on the Oilers top line? Because I looked through his production, right? He had a streak there of 4 games in a row. He had 5 assists, and he's had 1 assist in his last 3 games. What have you thought of Connor Brown with Connor McDavid?
Yeah, I think he's been fine. I don't know. It almost feels like they missed the boat on it a little bit, I guess you could say. Like you kind of, he was playing so well, and he's still playing well, but he was 3rd on the team in points as a forward from like November 6th onwards or something like that. So I think he's been fine. I do think it's probably time to end the experiment, unless he plays awesome tonight. And I'm not saying he's been playing bad. I just think Zach Hyman's way better. Yeah, I don't even think I know it, and everybody in this chat knows it. Connor Brown knows it, for crying out loud.
Connor Brown, if you're in this chat, please let us know who's better, Zach Hyman or you. I agree, Liam, it's not even close. And like the reason I ask you that is because my response would have been meh, like serviceable, fine. What you said, good enough, I guess. But when you looked at McDavid over the weekend, did struggle in those 2 games. You do think, like your argument was, do you want a 3rd line scoring line, or do you want the best player on planet Earth to have full ammunition, to be clip loaded, ready to go with Hyman and Nuge, 2 guys he's been proven with? But whatever, we've talked about that enough. Let's go now to our starting goaltender report, brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, who have a new commercial that played during the Edmonton Oilers game the other night. Shout out to the team over there, Liam. Shout out to Sherwood Park, us as well, because they had that beautiful scenic drone shot. You could see Millennium Place, see a little bit of everything. But shout out to Power Sports and Marine. Hit the trails this winter and the waves next summer. As fellow hockey fans, the team at Power Sports and Marine are helping Oilers Nation fans gear up. They're home of an ATV for just $50 bi-weekly, or cruise the open water in a boat for as low as $105 bi-weekly. Sherwood Power Sports and Marine are hockey fans helping hockey fans gear up for their next adventure with motorcycles, quads, e-bikes, boats, and scooters. Also, I believe I missed one. Shout out to Big Buddy for his super chat donation. We didn't say anything in it, Big Buddy, but you threw down $2.79. Thank you very much. Always in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. If you want to throw something else in there, Big Buddy, I will read it. I always feel like people.
I think you put Cup year a couple of comments after.
Oh, There it is.
There you go.
All right, perfect. That's worth 279. Yeah. We get a look at the goaltender comparison head to head. Shut up, Bat. The asterisk is also in this one as well. But Skinner, 16-8-3, 269 goals against, 902 save percentage. Finally above 900, but his play recently has been well above 900 for quite some time now. 10, 2, and 1 in his last 13 with a 201 goals against and a 928 save percentage. I see the Super Gremlin in the chat trolling away right now. He's a big Stuart Skinner hater. May I repeat, 10, 2, and 1 in his last 13, 201 goals against, 928 save percentage. Damn it, that's good goaltending from Stuart Skinner. And like in Boston, dude, he was making the save, the clutch save, the timely saves, the breakaway saves. He's been doing that a lot recently. And also, furthermore, did all of that after getting pile driven into the ground by Little Z, as I call him. But Liam, not even that can get Stuart Skinner off his game right now. He's cooking. The stew is cooking.
And the stew is hot, god damn it. Be careful, you might burn yourself. Yeah, he's been awesome. And I know our good friend Naeem, who always comments in the Owen Everyday chat, consistent with his bit or hatred, whatever you want to call it, always goes after. Oh, there you go. Always comments how Stuart Skinner isn't consistent enough because his goals saved above average is still like low or something like that. Well, since December 1st, his goal saved above average is like almost 6. He's been playing really, really well. For people who don't know, that's a pretty good stat. Anything like the other part of it too is like maybe the Oilers just don't give up like a ton of chances at like grade A. You know what I mean? They obviously give up a few. Every single team does, and also like sometimes those stats, quite frankly, suck, and I don't like them all the time. They're very like opinionated.
And like that stat to me is like, okay, does he make the miraculous saves? Well, what if he just makes every save that he should make?
I know.
Do we forget about that part? Like, do we forget about the rest of it all where you can see the shot and you make the save and you spit the rebound to the good spot, or you swallow up the rebound for a face-off, or either way.
I know.
Stuart Skinner, the stew be cooking right now. Also, to update in my new crockpot saga story, people, I made chili last night. So damn good. So damn good. Liam, do you have a crock pot?
I think I have an Instapot.
I don't really know what that is, but either way.
It's just like cooks things faster.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Probably kind of the same thing. Yeah. Mine's very simple.
I probably can do it. I also just looked it up out of curiosity since Nedeljkovic is playing tonight. He's only played 5 games since December 1st. And he has an 899 save percentage and just over it's a 301 goals against. Yeah,
not good. You want to hear some even worse numbers from Nedeljkovic? In his career against the Oilers, 379 goals against, 884 save percentage. So the way the Oil have been rocking and rolling lately and scoring goals, depth scoring all over the place, I like puck line tonight, Liam, but we're going to get there in just a minute. We got, 15 minutes left. Let's go to the away lineup, the Penguins lineup, brought to you by Greta Bar Yeg, my favorite spot in the entire city. People, it's Thursday. It's basically Friday. Also, reminder, everybody, set your fantasy lineups alarm going off right now, 4:45. Get your lineups in. I know you all appreciate it. But back to Greta. They're incredible. They've got incredible food, weekly drink specials, plural, and awesome games in the arcade as well. It's always a good time. And I don't think we've announced it yet, but I have been telling you we've got some parties coming up at Greta. We got some fun stuff planned during the Four Nations specifically as well. So, man, when I got told that my job, because those I won't have to be pre-gaming or post-gaming for, my job, I think, is literally just to go to Greta to party. People, come on down, everybody. Come on down to Greta Bar Yeg. But keep it locked on the Oilers Nation socials. You'll find out when those parties are going to be. Patrick Puff, hit it for me. The projected roster this evening for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Top line, Rickard Rakell, who's having, sneaky good year this season next to Sidney Crosby and Brian Rust on the wing. Michael Bunting with Cody Glass and Anthony Beauvillier And then third line, Drew O'Connor with Kevin Hayes. How you doing? And our boy, Jesse Puljujarvi. Then I believe it's Matt Nieto in there, Blake Lizotte, and Noel Achari on the decor. Marcus Pettersson with Chris Letang, Matt Grzelcyk with Eric Carlson, Owen Pickering with Pierre-Olivier Joseph. So Penguins dead last in the NHL in goals against this season, 3.62 per game. They allow 31.4 shots against per game, which is 29th in the NHL, I do believe. Defense, Liam, a little bit of an issue. Who would have ever thought that would be an issue when you decided to acquire an incredibly old Eric Carlson and already have a very old Chris Letang on your back end? Once again, like I said, it's just kind of a shame here with Sidney Crosby in his golden years. But when you look at that lineup, there is some talent in there. I'd ask you, Liam, who, in your opinion, is your player to watch this evening? I'll give you a minute, because for me, it's Rickard Rakell, dude. This dude has 20 goals. How many times can I say dude in one sentence? 20 goals and 35 points in 42 games played this season, stapled next to Sid and Brian Rust. 20 goals in 42 games is damn good, especially at this stage of Rakell's career. He's got that chemistry. Last season, he only scored 15 goals in 70 games. So he's already crushed that, way ahead of that pace. Who knows? Might be destined here for a 40-goal season. His career high, I believe, is 34 back with the Anaheim Ducks. He's my player to watch. He can put the puck in the back of the net. Liam, if you had to give me a player to watch, who would it be?
Oh, well, there's very, very few options. Me a player to watch. And I have to do it, hey? Boy, oh boy. I'll say a couple. Maybe someone like Marcus Pettersson, someone who maybe could be traded this deadline. So take a look at what he's all about. Owen Pickering is a former first-round pick. He's a good player. I think he was from the Swift Current Broncos. I think he was like 18th overall or something like that. Someone to watch for. I like watching the younger guys because they're basically the future of this entire team. And do you remember when Matt Nieto signed for the Oilers and then immediately signed for the Penguins? I wonder if he regrets that.
I would bet that he probably does, but once again, he was probably did that because I ain't cracking the Edmonton Oilers. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, I gotta go over there.
I'll say the other one too on a forward, Michael Bunting. 6 goals in his last 10. He's still like a pesky little player, isn't he? He's not bad.
Yeah, he's got some rat boy tendencies as well. Can get you off your game, can get in your face, score goals. I believe now, if they don't have Evgeny Malkin, do we get any word here yet? Let me just search Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, he would do it in warm-ups right now, right? So missed the last couple of games. He did skate this morning in morning skate.
46 seconds ago, Penguins tweeted their lineup. Damn it, I was on that. Nice timing. No Evgeny Malkin in the lineup for the Penguins. That will help. All right. I'm excited for that as well. You mentioned Marcus Pettersson there as well. You might remember him from Darnell Nurse beating the shit out of him in the last game on October 25th. But Liam, so he was a guy that was on Frank's trade targets list, like the first one he did this year or whatever. And I don't know if you noticed, but part 2 of that list didn't have Marcus Pettersson on there. Totally forgot to ask him about that yesterday. Obviously, a bigger name on the trade market this year. Last year of his deal, I think he's got like just over a $4 million cap hit. He's a left shot. But I do think us in Oil Country are starting to all just kind of come to terms with, take a peek out there on the trade market on the defense. There's not many great right-handed right side defensemen, so you might have to be flipping guys kind of that dealio like an Ivan Provorov or a Marcus Pettersson. Do we have any realize? I mean, I'm kind of threw you under the bus here, but of why he got taken off that list? Is it because Penguins are still competing for the playoffs? Because he was on there earlier this year, right?
I'm pretty sure he was number 1 on the list. Or like at least like top 3, top 5.
And then he was just off the list. So I'm like, what happened?
I would assume it's because they're still competing for a spot. Basically, like everybody in the Eastern Conference, and I think the Penguins are probably not exactly where they want to be, but are comfortable with where they're at right now in terms of the standings, and are more than okay waiting 2 months to see where things are at. So Mike Matheson was another player that wasn't on that list. I'm going to keep being this drum. I honestly don't I don't think the Oilers should acquire a right shot defenseman, which seems very silly for me to say, but like, why are you spending all your pennies on something that's not good? Just go get a good left shot defenseman, play him on your third pairing, or play him next to Nurse and play Kulak up, one of the two. And like, I know it's not easy by any means, but like, these guys are good enough to kind of figure it out after a while. Kulak hadn't done it until the playoffs last year, and now he plays there basically every single night.
You know, who's probably, if he was watching the show right now, would be smiling proud like a father. It'd be Bruce Kurlock, Liam, because that is basically word for word what he said earlier today. And he also mentioned, he goes, Brett Kulak has shown us that in limited spurts that he can even flip over and do it. You can afford, get a good top 4D man, whatever hand it is. Make sure he's good.
Fine.
That's your number one preference, your number one priority. Yeah. Good, not mad, not right-handed, good. And then everything else should figure out its way from there.
I totally agree. And I think I've been saying this now for a couple of weeks, and my forward take was a bad one. I'll walk back on that one. Like I said on the show yesterday, probably don't need a top 6 guy. I don't care that Adam Henrique had one good game. I would still look at the third line center spot, but he's still obviously a great player and can do well for the team. But you kind of got to look at intelligence, I think. And if you can find a guy that you know is like athletic enough and is smart enough to read the game, like I'd be looking at a guy like Keandre Miller. I know Frank Saravalli basically just described what Darnell Nurse was the last 3 seasons on our show yesterday of Miller, but like still only 24. It wasn't that long ago that Rangers fans loved him and adored him. So I would see if I can get my hands on him.
I don't know if that quintessential top 4 guy, like we keep talking, falling out of the sky and whatnot, and that happening. Tertiary ads, man. Team defense wins cups, and you can add guys like that. Miller, he's got some nastiness to him as well. Let's go talk some bets now with Bet365 for Bordzy's bankroll. Shout out Bet365, proud partner of Pre-Gaming with Bordzy. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Use the code NATION. I see Brett's in. He says Pod Cold and Goal, book it. So you've got Brett's bankroll picks as well. And then Patrick, hit it for me, brother. What am I doing this? Because I already kind of forgot what I was betting this evening. Oh, that's right. Earlier when you mentioned McDavid 4 shots, my ears perked up because I went, Liam. There it is. Number 1 option, McDavid over just to get 4 shots on goal plus 155, 11 shots on goal in his last 2 games played. And went even a little bit of a deeper dive in his last 5 games against Pittsburgh, 23 shots on goal. So he's been getting points. He's been scoring goals. Let's go and chase that shot prop. Second one, McDavid, 2+ points, 27 in those 14 head-to-head games against Sidney Crosby. 9 goals, 18 assists. And in his last 7, 6 goals, 11 assists for 17 points in his last 7 games. It's all Connor all the time. I know he's been struggling a little bit right now, whatever you want to say. But once again, my rule, Liam, if you throw a plus sign next to McDavid, 2+ points, no matter the game, no matter the night, I am going to smash that every single time. It's just a rule I've got. And then finally, Oilers puck line. That means you got to win by 2 goals. That is currently plus 115. Edmonton's won 7 in a row over Pittsburgh. Outscored them 37-9 in that span. And in their last 4 meetings have covered puck line in every single one of them. Liam, which of these 3 bets do you like the most? And then tell us if you got any money on anything else responsibly, courtesy of our friends from Bet365.
I like the puck line the most. Yeah. I just like the idea that we've kind of been beaten here of like Oilers overall are just playing very, very well. So I really like that. I did bet that one tonight too. Draisaitl power play point is something I liked as well. I think it was like plus 150 or something like that. And then I also went with a Arvidsson point, like I said, from what I did on the ON every day as well. So that's one. And hey, if you want to look outside of Edmonton, I don't know if you do or you don't, but I'd go and look at the Columbus Blue Jackets. Marchenko and Voronov are 2 guys who are like 2 of the hottest players in the league right now. Their points, Marchenko's point is like minus 125, and Voronov is is minus 160. But if you combine them, you can get just over even money. And Varanov, who has 4 goals in his last 2 games, I think 5 in his last 4 or something weird like that. Plus 165 to score a goal tonight.
Yeah, I like that, dude. Those Columbus dudes, they have
So
been
good.
lighting it up recently. We went through their stats the other day on Oilers Nation every day, and I was like, man, that's a fantasy gold mine in fantasy hockey. You stumble onto guys like that, those are league winners through and through right there. Throw them in, anybody, if you're riding. Also, all 3 of these picks parlayed. I always forget to do it, and I did it right now. All 3 parlayed together, plus 575 if you want a squad ride with your boy Lance Kane. I'm looking at you specifically. And then finally, Liam, here I'll ask you for your score prediction and anytime goal scorer. Wow, my brain short-circuited. But first, I want to give a shout out to Odd Company Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Always keep that thing on me. I got one down here at my hip. Shout out to them. Perfect for game day, perfect for every day. You can find them 2 Odd Company locations in the Edmonton area, or head to liquorconnect.com and find out if your local liquor store is carrying it. I just looked down. Lance Kane just sent me a DM with a photo of a parlay. Shout out Lance Kane. And finally, the other one I got for you. Come on, the nation vacation, because we are heading to Viva Las Vegas. April 1st is the Oilers and the Vegas game, but we'll be there March 30th to April 2nd. Visit nationgear.ca for more details on this bad boy. We offer flight options. We offer no flight options. We're going to be staying at Stadium Swim, I believe it is, which a swim up sportsbook. I keep saying this. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm so damn excited to gamble while being in the water. That just sounds awesome to me, Liam. My Canadian brain just can't process that until I actually see it in front of me. So people, go to nationgear.ca for more deets and come on this trip. It is going to be an awesome, awesome time. And I'll let you in on a little something. My mom today sent our family a group message, and she said, would anybody like to go to Vegas or like Nashville in early April?
Ooh.
And I went, Mama Bordzy, we got a little bit of a trip going on. Come cheer on the Edmonton Oilers. So she's considering it. I'll update it later. But Bordzy and his mother might be coming on this trip. Be a good time. Liam, I gave you enough time to stall. Give me a score prediction and an anytime goal score.
I think the Oilers will win 5-2, and I might even go puck line 2.5. Feel a little crazy. Anytime goal scorer. I'll support the bread, man. I'll say Pods gets a goal.
I'm looking here. Goal scorers. I can't believe Darnell Nurse plus 900 is what Jay is chasing tonight. Vasily Podkolzin plus 425. Nice and juicy. All right. Let's head on out of here now. I love you all. Big shouts out to our sponsors: Sherwood Ford the Giant, Sherwood Power Sports Marine, Greta Bar Yegg, Bet365, Wilhock Beef Jerky, Odd Company, Come on the Nation Vacation. And that will do it for Liam and I. Keep it locked here on the Oilers Nation YouTube channel, because we will be going live right after the conclusion of this one to break it all down. Oilers Nation After Dark. And then tomorrow, Liam, a little ONE Friday edition. And you know what that means. JD. I love me some JD. I love you all as well. Throw your courtesy like down on your way out. Make sure you are subscribed to the ON YouTube. Good luck out there. I hope we go 3 for 3 this evening and hit that parlay. If not, we'll talk about it later this evening. Good luck, everybody. Peace out.